Hey, how are you? It's what is it? It's Wednesday, time for the Classic Guitar Rock Daily Update. I'm Jeremy. Thank you so much for tuning in. A few fun items in the news today. The two-hit wonder, marginally talented, but I got a soft spot for this guy. Dee Snider is in the news. Why is Dee in the news? Those of you that might remember back, it's been 35 years since Dee Snider appeared in Congress. And it's great footage. Remember the whole PMRC thing? Tipper Gore was trying to, uh, censor, right? It was a campaign to censor. I don't know if censor is the right word. They wanted to put warning labels, and they were kind of, there was kind of a campaign against a lot of not just rock music, but music in general, and it resulted in both Frank Zappa and Dee Snider appearing before Congress, and both did an excellent job. We don't do politics here, but we are very much First Amendment folks around here. Free speech, super important. So Dee Snider has an upcoming graphic novel, and that's a fancy way of saying a long comic book about his battle to defend free speech. It's called Dee Snider. He's not going to take it. And you can see Dee in all his long-haired First Amendment glory, and that is set to be released November 25th, November 21st of this year. So be on the lookout for Dee Snider. He's not going to take it if you're a comic book fan. Also, if you saw this, if you follow us on X, formerly Twitter, you might have seen this in our On This Date segment. It was on this date way back in 1976 that AC/DC's third studio album, Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap, was released. I had no idea that this is their third best-selling album, behind only Back in Black and Highway to Hell. Number 3 is Dirty Deeds. I would not have guessed that. I would have guessed at least 2 other albums were ahead of Dirty Deeds, but not the case. Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. That's actually the first AC/DC album I ever owned. So that's I got a soft spot in my heart for that album. Great album. But it was way back in 1976 that album was released. Also on this day, way back in 2005, how many of you remember the reality show Rockstar in Excess? Do you guys remember that? Sadly, way back in the late 90s, Michael Hutchence, the lead singer of INXS, and I was an INXS fan. I really liked INXS. He died. And so in 2005, they put together this reality show to replace a new lead singer for INXS. And it was a great show. I watched every episode. I really enjoyed it. It was very entertaining. Well, it was on this date way back in 2005. I can't believe that is 18 years ago. Wow. Canadian J.D. Fortune beat 2 other finalists to become the new lead singer with INXS after a worldwide search to replace the late Michael Hutchence. And of course, they promptly did nothing after hiring J.D. Fortune. And I don't know if they're still even. Is INXS still around? Do we know? Does anyone know? No one here knows. Who am I kidding? There's no one in here but me. I don't know why I'm asking other people. But just an interesting bit of trivia. And that was a fun reality show. And then I think they did another season of it, but I can't even remember what band they were doing, and it just fizzled. But another fun thing that happened on this date way back in 2005. Yours truly, am going to see Foreigner on Friday night. And I only bring that up because kind of a recurring theme that we talk about on the podcast is it's a two-parter, really. There's 2 things that we deal with as classic rock fans. Our bands that we grew up with, that we know and love, they're getting old, guys. A lot of those classic rock iconic artists are passing away, or they're in a state that they can't really tour anymore, which means that more and more bands are replacing legacy members. And there's always a debate going back and forth. For example, I'm going to see Foreigner. Foreigner does not have any original members. Mick Jones is still in the band, but from what I hear, he'll only play like a song or two, and then he's the only member. Everyone else is replacement guys, super talented, mega talented, but Lou Gramm isn't there anymore. None of the originals are there. And so some people say, hey, they should hang it up. They shouldn't be touring anymore. Others say, hey, I want their music to be kept alive. I will pay to go see them, even if it's not original members. By the way, this current incarnation of Foreigner is really good. Not original, but they sound really good. I'll let you know, give you a review of the concert on Friday, but that's a common debate. Should bands hang it up when they've lost all of especially all of their original members, but even just one or two original members? Some people think they need to give up at that point. But classic rock bands still touring with all original members, not that I can think of. Correct me if I'm wrong. But that's just the way it is. People get older, people die, and either the bands are left with an option of, hey, do we keep doing this with someone new, or do we just hang it up? It's a big question, one that we will not answer today, but one that we can talk about. I believe children are the future. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow for another classic guitar rock update. Goodbye. Take care. Thank you. Farewell. Auf Wiedersehen.